The Mad Woman and the Beast. One hot afternoon, in the village of Kuru, the market was busy. Women sold yams, fish, and ripe mangoes, while children ran between stalls, laughing. The scent of roasted goat meat and spicy stew filled the air, mixing with the sound of bargaining voices. But deep in the thick forest beyond the village, something stirred. A great brown bear, bigger than any man, pushed through the trees. Its fur was matted with dirt, its ribs showed beneath its thick skin, and its eyes were wild with hunger. It had lived in the forest for years, feeding on smaller animals, but now food was scarce. The dry season had made hunting difficult, and the bear was desperate. Then, the scent of fresh blood reached its nose. Nearby, a hunter named Gamba crouched behind a fallen tree, his spear poised. He had been tracking a wounded antelope for hours. Just as he raised his spear for the final strike, he heard a rustling behind him. Too late. With a terrible roar, the bear lunged. Before Gamba could turn, sharp claws raked across his back, tearing through skin and muscle. He screamed and rolled to the side, trying to grab his knife, but the bear was faster. It sank its teeth into his neck, snapping bone. Silence fell in the forest. The bear sniffed at the hunter's body, licking the blood from its muzzle. But one man was not enough to fill its belly. Then, it smelled something stronger. Smoke. Meat. Food. The village. Slowly, it stepped forward, its heavy paws crushing dry leaves. Then, it ran. Terror in the market. In the village, no one saw the beast coming. The women continued selling their goods, children played, and men gathered under a tree, drinking palm wine. Then, a terrible roar. The bear burst into the market, knocking over baskets and tables. A woman selling cassava screamed as the bear swiped at her, sending her flying into the dust. A man tried to fight it with a stick, but the bear bit his arm, tearing flesh from bone. People ran in all directions, shouting, "A beast! A beast!" The village warriors grabbed their spears, but fear froze their hands. They had never seen such a monster. The chief, hiding behind a tree, called out, "Someone stop it." But who could face such a beast? Then, from the shadows, she came. Nuhu, the Mad Woman. She lived at the edge of the village, talking to spirits and dancing under the moon. Her hair was wild, her clothes torn, and people feared her more than they respected her. Children ran when she passed. Women whispered about her at the river. But that day, she walked straight into the market, barefoot and fearless. She picked up a broken calabash and banged it against a stall, making a loud noise. The bear turned to her, its eyes full of hunger. The villagers held their breath. Then, Nuhu laughed. A long, strange laugh that echoed through the market. She raised her hands, waving them wildly. She jumped, twisted, and rolled like a spirit possessed. The bear watched, confused. It had never seen anything like this. Then, with a sudden scream, Nuhu ran straight at the beast. The bear roared, raising its paw to strike her. But Nuhu was faster. She dodged to the side, grabbed a sharp knife from a fallen stall, and drove it deep into the bear's neck. Blood poured, and the beast howled in pain. It tried to shake her off, but she held on, stabbing again and again. The great bear stumbled, then fell with a final groan. Silence. The villagers peeked from their hiding places. The bear was dead. And Nuhu. She stood over it, covered in blood, breathing hard. For the first time, the village did not see her as mad. They saw her as brave. The search for Nuhu. That night, the chief declared a feast in her honor. Drums were beaten, torches were lit, and the villagers danced in celebration. But when they went to find Nuhu, she was nowhere to be seen. Days passed, and she did not return to the market. The villagers searched for her, calling her name, but she remained hidden in the forest. Then one day, a group of young men followed her footprints deep into the trees. They found her sitting by a river, speaking to herself, drawing patterns in the sand with her fingers. She was thinner than before, her eyes lost in a world they could not see. They carried her back to the village, but she refused to eat or speak to anyone. The village elders gathered and made a decision. They would take her to the big town, where healers and doctors could help her. Healing the mad woman. The journey was long, but finally, they reached a large town with tall buildings and moving cars. They took her to a psychiatric hospital, where doctors examined her. They said she had been sick for many years, lost in her mind, but with care, she could get better. Weeks passed. Then months. Slowly, with medicine and kindness, Nuhu began to change. She spoke in clear sentences. She smiled when people visited her. One day, she even laughed, not the wild laugh of the market day, but a soft, warm laugh. After a year, she returned to the village. The people welcomed her with open arms. No longer did they call her mad. They called her Nuhu the Brave. And though she never danced in the market again, her name was whispered with respect for generations. For sometimes, the ones we fear the most are the ones who can save us all.